Thanks for joining us on our comic book coffee break. I'm Nick Gunning.
And I'm Eric Mickles, known online as Dusk vs. Tweak.
Yeah, Eric, I need you to promise me that you're not gonna be childish about what I'm about to say. Can I have your promise?
Yeah, I'm looking at the
Okay.
notes, but can't guess.
Well, I didn't write it in because I didn't think you could handle it.
Okay.
Today I'm drinking the regular house blend coffee from nuts.com.
Mm-hmm. It's just
That's it. That's what I'm drinking. That's
N
what my coffee is.
nuts.com.
Nuts.com. Yep, not a sponsor, just where we get a bunch of healthy things.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it is coffee.
Yeah, for all your nuts needs.
And nuts. Well, that's true. I mean, I did also get a nice bag of pistachios and a nice drag of cashews.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
your vegetarian boy needs a little bit of protein every now and then.
From nuts.com.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From nuts.com. Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Again, not a sponsor.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Well, I don't want
Not
you
that
to
we
think
turn 'em down.
I'm shilling out and getting a sponsor, but I'm drinking water.
Oh yeah.
Not soda. I'm
Okay.
whatever 2 weeks now. But you know what? When I gave up red
Do it.
meat, it was a week, and then it was 2 weeks, and now it's 2 years.
Yeah. Little by little.
Little by
Yep.
little,
Good for
inch
you.
by inch.
Good for you. I would not say that I've given up soda. I just don't drink it very often. There are definitely times that I'm like, yeah, that's what I want, but it's rare. Like we went and got burgers yesterday, and my wife was like, I think I want a Coke, and I just didn't, which is crazy because I love the stuff. I love it so much, but that's what happens. Are you okay? Did you have a stroke?
No, I didn't think you gave up soda, but I know that you were drinking less soda.
Yeah, I was really, it was like an everyday kind of thing for a long time.
Well, I was drinking 3 cans of Coke a day.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Didn't matter if it was
That's a
before,
lot.
Yeah. Sometimes at work, it would be like I get 2 24-ounce bottles of Coke, and I would drink those at work, and then like, oh, you know what? I'm going to have some Coke when I get home.
This is how you and me are different, one of the many ways.
Oh.
That would make me so fat. It would. Seriously.
Did
If
not
I had 3
expect-
Cokes a day, forget it. Forget it.
This show was brought to you by the Radio
This show's brought to you by the
Network.
Radio Meanwhile Network. That's my
Oh,
line.
that's your line. Yeah. You can find more about the show on the
That's
Like It
okay.
on Network.
I'll say
website,
yours.
RadioMeanwhile.com. Here, you can save it.
All right, Eric. Let's talk the health of middle-aged men. How are you? How are you doing?
Not middle-aged.
You getting that cardio in? How old are you?
34.
Okay. So you're planning to live past 70 then. That's good. Good for you. I'm glad you've gotten optimistic.
Yeah.
You're right. You're not middle-aged. You still got some years to go. We read a lot of the same things this week, Eric. So this is gonna be a fun time. Would you like to start? Would you like me to? I'm gonna start. I finished Brian Michael Bendis' Avengers run
Did you?
with Volume 5. Yes.
Good. That hell is over.
Volume
then
5.
for you, but I guess you
I know.
loved his
I haven't-
stuff.
I didn't. I haven't gone back to this in a while. I can't even remember the last time I read this, that I read Volume 4. And I was going to quit New Avengers forever ago, but then I realized I only had one more volume of that. So it's like, I think I have a Secret Avengers and a New Avengers to kind of tie this all up.
This is
But-
the Age of Heroes as well, right? And what it was
Yes.
called? Man, yeah, that was definitely like, I gotta read it because I have to?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think this is called, it's like Avengers End Run or End Times or something like that.
I can't think of like an Avengers run, like a straight Avengers run. That's like classic Avengers lineup and everything that I've enjoyed.
I liked this one when it started. I thought the first volume was good. There was a thing with King the Conqueror that I thought was cool. There was some time travel stuff early on, but the more it went, the more I was like, what? And Secret Avengers and New Avengers in particular, I don't know. New Avengers never did anything for me. Secret Avengers was kind of in and out, but yeah, I'm not sorry this one's over.
Yeah, I think, are you gonna read the like, is Hickman? Jonathan Hickman's next?
I don't know. I was gonna maybe try Uncanny Avengers, but you seem to think I wouldn't like that.
Well,
so.
it's just weird, but I loved it.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's
maybe I'll
that's
like
Rick,
it too.
That's Rick Remender.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
which
great.
I'm kind of 50-50 on Rick Remender. We'll see what I-
The first volume was whatever. I was kind of disappointed, but as it went on, I was like, oh, this is great. It was my jam. The Jonathan Hickman stuff is the stuff that led into Infinity, and it was just so
Okay.
boring. I hated it.
Mm.
it was horrible. So I don't know what run comes after that. I don't think it's the Jason Aaron run, but I might just skip to the Jason Aaron run because might not care.
I don't. I typically I don't know. I mean, I usually like X-Men team books, but with Avengers, I guess I would rather read an Iron Man story, or I would rather read a Captain America story or Thor, rather than
It can
like
feel so
Avengers. I
dated.
don't know.
Avengers stories can just
Yeah,
feel so dated in a way that not even like Justice League has to deal with. And I don't know what it is.
yeah.
It especially when
I'm
they're
not
trying to
sure either.
like
I do agree with you.
if they're trying to modernize it, it can be rough. If they're trying to like replicate, are they trying to do like comic book Avengers team, or are they trying to replicate the movies Avengers where everybody's quippy, but then you feel like it's
Yeah,
just a filtered version of that? It's not great.
yeah. No, I
So,
agree. So at least I finished that. I am gonna finish up Secret and New Avengers just because I'm so close. I'm just gonna finish that out. So
all right.
that's probably where I'll go next
Yeah.
Avengers wise, and then I'll give Uncanny a try.
Anytime Bendis has to write a book that's starring more than one person, it's just like, oh my gosh. Speaking of Bendis, apparently people on Twitter think House of M is like a great comic book series. I saw people saying like House of M, which is one of my favorite stories, and I'm like, House of M, the 8-issue boring ass series that is famous for only 3 words, which, by the way, is 2,500 less words than Bendis usually fits into a bubble. I just
That's
don't
true. Yeah.
understand. Is this like?
Never read
Is this? I need somebody to tell me. Is this House of M crap that people are thinking that this is like high literary achievement in the comic world? Is this like revisionist history, which is, I guess, House of M-esque anyway? Or did people like it back then? Because I remember it not being good and being boring.
I never read it.
8 issues to
I
just
never
get to
read
her
it.
saying no more mutants. And that's what people remember. And that's it. You can
Charlie
just make it a
Wicks. Yeah.
page. Anyway,
I don't
I'm
know. My
pissed.
wife read it and enjoyed it. I think we have a lot of the trades because they made like a special
Yeah.
House of M, like if you put them all together.
I
So
just
she read a lot of
remember
the spin-offs and side stories and things too. I never have. Now I feel like I
I
have
just
to
remember
just
the
because it really
universe being like really
dropped the
boring.
gauntlet.
Just like, look, mutants are in charge. Like, okay, and what else? And that was it.
Hmm.
8 issues. Oh, hated it. Anyway,
Wow. Let it out. Don't
yeah.
hold back.
All right. I read. Well, I don't know what to talk about without getting you talking about it. So I guess I'll just
So let's
say
just
I read the first. I finished up to issue 12 of Mutant X, plus
Yes.
the really boring annual.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I read the first
I
12 issues of this series.
I read this. The first volume was what, 17 issues?
Yeah.
I just couldn't, like, every week you're telling me stories from this book, and I had to see for myself. So
Uh-huh.
I read the 17 issues. I did kind of like it, but when you get to 12, it really does end. Like, it's
Yeah.
very clearly
Yeah.
like this is the end.
Issue 12 of this series from 1999 is Madeline Pryor being defeated as the Goblin Queen. She's defeated by the X-Men
Yeah.
and Havoc, but not
Right.
really. She's defeated by her son Scotty, who apparently can grant
Yeah.
wishes or just make things happy. I don't know. He's a dumb kid. I hate that
Yeah.
character. Anytime he talks, I'm like, I don't know if he's supposed to talk like he's 4, where he's like, I'm so scared, or is he supposed to be like, Havoc, don't you understand the quantum mechanics of it? It's just,
Oh,
I can't tell what we're supposed to get from Scotty.
inconsistent.
Um,
I don't know. I feel like if it really was just the 12 issues, I think I would be a lot more rosy about it because it is like it's different enough to be intriguing. I feel like I think what they do with Brute, who is the Beast character, is actually very tragic.
Mhm.
Like I found that to be genuinely sad.
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, I get sad by Brute. He's definitely one of those like innocent, sad characters. He's like, me just
Yeah.
want to help.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I found that weirdly moving, and
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I also am all about Magneto's like modified X-Men costume. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the colors and the X and everything.
I just think it's weirdly not different enough. Like a Magneto leading the X-Men isn't a crazy idea,
Yeah.
especially because in '99, Age of Apocalypse would have only been a couple years old anyways, and he led them in that, and he's led them in the main Marvel universe, and
Yeah.
at this point as well. And like the X-Men team is fine. I mean, some of these characters went on. I don't think you ever carried on with X-Men Blue, but both Madeline Pryor and Bloodstorm show up in that. Like Bloodstorm becomes a
Okay.
character hanging out with that with those
I thought
X-Men.
Bloodstorm was a cool character.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a vampire storm,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool. But so you haven't read past
I
number
haven't
12?
read past number 12. This is a thing where
Oh my
I wake
gosh.
up, I read like 3 issues and then I try to move on with my day.
Yeah. I mean, because afterwards, I won't tell you anything that happens, but it's like definitely the very next issue is like, oh crap, let's do a prequel, you know? And then the next couple issues are just sort of like, what if we do this? What if we do this? What if we do this?
Yeah.
And it never, like, for those 5 issues that I read, it never really settles into being a story again in the way the initials were. So maybe after that, it kind of gets a second wind to continue on, but you
No,
really can.
apparently it starts becoming one of the worst books Marvel ever put in print. Or maybe one of the
Oh,
worst X
are
titles.
you going to read it?
Yeah.
Because I honestly kind of want to read it, and I want to make a formal request that this be featured on an episode of Previously on X-Men because it's such a weird little curio in the X-Men universe. I think that would be a super interesting discussion for you guys to have.
Probably. It's so bizarre.
So that's my vote.
All right, that
That
covers
it's a
both
Previously
of
on
us.
X-Men topic.
Here's
Yes.
something I think we both also read. So get off my Goodreads, Nick. No, just kidding.
Look. Okay.
No, I read. We both finished Batman Detective Comics Volumes 6 and 7.
Yes, well, I pushed this up on my list because that's where I was at. It's like I left off at number 5, and I didn't want to. I wanted us to be able to talk about it without it spoiling the rest of the story for me. So yes, I read them in
Is there
conjunction
anything
with
to
you.
spoil? Lur?
Yes. No, I don't think there's really anything to spoil.
Batman and his
I
team
would
win against the bad people?
I guess I liked the Brother Eye stuff. I liked the stuff with OMAC being part of it. I never really got on board with the
Armstrong
look.
character?
This book was, or this title covers seven volumes. What is that, like 36 issues, something like that? It's a long run. And what I guess I have to give it props for is it truly is long form storytelling. You know, like it is one cohesive story from start to finish. You don't really have many sidetracks.
Yeah.
And so for that, I felt like it really does come to an end. It closes out a lot of things that started in the book. It gives you the full picture for these characters. I'm not 100% that it worked, but I appreciated that it did come to a close and was better than I expected it to be. What did you think about it?
I feel like with titles like Fall of the Batman and Batman Eternal, which again should be Batman Forever. It's much
Just
more
go for it. Yeah.
I feel like I expected a kind of bigger storytelling,
Yeah.
especially with a bigger team. I guess I thought this was going to be like weirdly epic in a lot of ways, and
Yeah.
it still stayed kind of low to the ground. I don't know.
No, I agree with you, but I think it's weird because it is kind of a low watt story, but it also tends to collapse under its own weight because you have so many characters now in the Bat family. You know, you're dealing with Batwoman like Kate Kane, you're dealing with Orphan Cassandra Cain, you're dealing with Barbara Gordon Batgirl, you're dealing with Stephanie Brown Spoiler, Tim Drake Red Robin, Dick Grayson Nightwing, Jason Todd Red Hood, and Damian Wayne Robin. So you've got all of these characters, and you go like 5 or 6 issues without even seeing one of them. You know, like in I think it was issue 6, Damian shows up again, and you're like, well, where the heck have you been? You know, like apparently Damian just lives there. And Bruce was like mentioning Alfred, and I'm like, I haven't seen Alfred in 5 volumes, so I don't know what's going on. So it's like there were so many characters that I feel like
You don't understand the
you
character
just
of Alfred, or
no, it's not that. It's just like you said it last week. Like, why is Dick Grayson not a part of this? Like, where is Dick Grayson in all of this? And that's what I feel like. It's like they show up, and then they just are not part of the story for however long, and then suddenly they're part of the story again. It doesn't really feel like all of that. It's really like a Batwoman story, don't you think?
the thing that I mean the whole Stephanie Brown storyline really annoyed me throughout this. I thought it was weird, and I don't know, maybe I'm not giving enough credit, but the whole like her losing almost her mind over Tim Drake, it was just kind of like, boy, this is something, but whatever. the big thing where like Brother Eye is trying to like get Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown to like turn is by showing them what their lives were like in the pre New 52
Yeah,
universe. I didn't understand what
right.
that would
Showing
do
them
to
each.
them.
No,
And
no, I didn't either.
it also just reminded me of how much I wish New 52 had never happened.
I agree.
And so
I
like
know. When I saw those characters in that old form, I was
yeah.
like, yeah, that is a
It
lot
seems
better
like
than
it's
what we have
trying
now.
to make a case for itself by having the characters be like, you think I'm upset by that? That means I can be better and I am stronger. That's not going to change me. That's one life, but this is my life. It's just like, okay,
Yeah.
sure, that might you might be trying to tell us we should accept this new like stuff and it's not even new anymore. It's 10 years old now since New
Right.
52.
Yeah.
But like seeing
Yeah.
that, I'm like, oh yeah, I much preferred. Cause I mean, I guess Cassandra Cain is still kind of on point character wise in this. She's not too different from how she used to be in that. But just seeing like her in the Batgirl costume and everything, I was like,
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
I miss that thing. And
And I
anytime
tell
they
you
try
what,
to
it
bring
really
it up,
made
it's not good.
me want to go back and finish the Cassandra Cain Batgirl series because I think I only read the first two volumes,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Yeah.
and I always did really like it. I really like the art
Yeah.
and all
I
that.
think it's short.
I
Only
spent a
ran like
long
26
time.
issues.
Is it?
Something like
Oh,
that.
okay. I I spent a long time wishing that Tim Drake wasn't so sidelined, but as soon as they brought him back in this series, I was like, okay, let's
Yeah,
play a new tune
his
here,
whole
buddy.
character arc about not wanting to be Batman, that's never really what I've worried about Tim Drake.
No, no.
So it's weird that they put that on him. I mean, they did.
Yeah.
Jeff Johns did, and so okay. Help me also the Batman from the future that is Tim Drake in this series. It's the
Yeah.
same Tim Drake Batman that was in Jeff Johns' Teen Titans Dark Future, right? Because that's what
I
he's
think
hinting
so,
at.
yeah.
Okay. So again, what's the point of any of this? It's just
I
know like maybe a regular DC reader isn't having these problems, and so I'm like complaining about not being like in tune with like the whole DC universe, but I am in tune with Batman on pretty regular basis.
Yeah.
So like the fact that I still get confused on this is very
Yeah.
frustrating.
Well, I think you have to be. I think you have to be. That's the thing, because like, it is helpful to know that that's the Tim Drake Batman that we're talking about, the one from like 15 years ago in
Yeah.
Teen Titans. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know why you
of a
bother...
dark future, of a dark alternate future of a timeline that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's really inside baseball there,
Yeah.
so I don't.
And it's the same, like
I didn't really
anarchy.
get that.
Anarchy being in this was just kind of like, well, whatever.
That's right.
I don't care.
I forgot.
I don't think I care about this version of anarchy at all. It's just,
I
don't know. And then I wonder.
left out in my recounting of all the characters, I left out Anarchy and Jean Paul Valley.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, are these versions of characters
Huge.
supposed to be winning over new readers? Are they supposed to be intriguing to old readers? I'm tired of seeing like new updated versions of Azrael.
Agreed.
So
I think I was really positive about the start of this Detective Comics run. Like the first volume, where it really is like we've never truly had like a Batman team book. Not since like Batman Family in the Silver Age,
right.
And this was set out to be like, this is a team. This is a functional team. This is a team book where Batwoman is leading the charge of all the like Bat allies.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that wasn't something that I was particularly clamoring for. Like, even as a fan of the Bat family, I wasn't like, please give me a Batman team book. But once they did it, I was kind of like, yeah, let's see where this goes. But it seems like they ditched that premise really early. And it, again, just became a Batman is cold kind of story, I feel like, in the end. So what was the point? You're talking me out of liking this.
Sorry, no, it's just it's like the bigger concepts of the DC universe keep me from enjoying this on like a smaller level. Like not knowing which version
they make it impossible.
Yeah, not knowing which version of the character is I'm reading anymore. Like I picked up on Cassandra Cain, and I still like this Cassandra Cain, but like spoiler is frustrating. I guess with Batwoman, I'm just in there because I don't really know anything about that character because I read the first volume and it was too trippy for me.
Yeah, it's very trippy. Yeah.
And this is the most Cassandra. This is the most Kate Kane I've read. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. Well, I liked Stephanie Brown like in the '90s when she was a Tim Drake in the Robin solo title when she was like a supporting character there,
Mhm.
and even in the War Games
Yeah, she was Robin and then
set
she was
there
Batgirl.
when she steps up as Robin, like she had a lot of character development, and I feel like the Stephanie Brown character in the Rebirth era, in this title in particular, has put her back character wise to where she was in the '90s, and it just doesn't play
Yeah.
anymore, you know?
Yep. Um, Wait. So was Volume 6 the one with King Clayface?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I like the Clayface stuff, especially more than you do. But I like monsters.
Well, I kind of like the way they resolved that story, but then we kind of touched on it again in number 7, and I thought that kind of made it less
Mm,
powerful.
maybe.
Did you agree, or
Yeah.
did
That
you
that
like the
seems that's
tag?
it. Just seems like that tag is gonna happen in anything. I feel like
Yeah,
that tag. I've seen that type of tag a million times now in all forms of
agreed.
media.
Yeah,
So
yep,
yeah, that's a
yep.
Spielberg tag right there.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
uh, I read Hellblazer. Here's something you didn't read.
Maybe I
Did
did.
you? Hellblazer Volume 12. Weird spot for you to pick up.
No,
The
no, I
the
didn't.
end of Paul Jenkins' run with a couple of one shots, and then Garth Ennis comes back for a really gross 5-issue final.
Yeah. No, you're
Okay.
right. You're right. I
um,
didn't.
yeah, I gotta say, Paul Jenkins' run, I am disappointed. I was hoping I would like it more than everybody seemed to talk about, but I didn't. It really
That's too bad.
it really did nothing for me. It was kind of hard to get through. Like every time I'd pick up the book to read, I'm like, oh, but it's just gonna be these like not great single issues, and then they were not great. Um, Garth Ennis comes back. It's this 5-issue series he calls Son of Man, and it is
Oh,
gross. And the
okay.
humor, it's way. So I liked his other stuff in this. Um, because I don't know, it was a bit more focused and it was a bit less Garth Ennis-y than it has been. This one was full Ennis, like the same kind of gross, over the top humor, the demons having
Full
babies
Ennis.
with their dads. Yeah,
Mm.
that's a less gross description of what is the actual fact in this comic. Constantine is like talking to the audience in this. It's just it's it's more entertaining than the Paul Jenkins stuff has been, but I'm glad it's not how
Mm-hmm.
the series has been in general.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I did not love this volume, but now I'm on volume 13 where Warren Ellis writes for a little bit, and then the next volume is Brian Azzarello, so we'll see how that goes.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck.
But then that's the last
Good luck
physical
and
copy.
Godspeed, my
Yeah.
friend.
What else have you been reading?
The only thing that I have here is Firestorm, is the last of the graphic novels that I read that we haven't already talked about. And this is a version of the character. Jason Rush is his name. This is I read the 2004 series of Firestorm, the first 8 issues. It's not collected. There's one volume collected late in the run.
That's weird
That
because
I'm
wasn't this series like important to Infinite Crisis at the time?
Yes, it was. It crosses over a lot with Infinite Crisis or Identity Crisis. I think Identity Crisis, or maybe both.
Oh,
It
okay.
when you
Identity
when you
Crisis.
when you look at the issues, there's a lot of crossovers with other things in here, and
Hmm.
it does cross over with Infinite Crisis towards the end. Yeah. So I don't know why it isn't collected. Probably there are single issues collected in some other like bigger storylines, but the only one here is late. I mean, it's like, in the late 20s, it
Hmm.
collects a couple of issues there,
Okay.
but it is all on the app.
Yeah.
I had always thought that this was the character that Legends of Tomorrow uses,
Oh, no.
but it's not.
Right.
It's not. That's just a completely made up character,
Right.
which I think is really strange. Like, why wouldn't you adapt the comic book character? Why would you make up a new character
Hmm.
for Legends of Tomorrow? And I looked into it a little bit, and this character, Jason Rush, does appear in the Arrowverse, like as part of the Firestorm story that you get. Probably more like the Robbie Amell version of the character. So like he is there, but he's not Firestorm
Hmm.
in the show. One thing that's really cool about this, and I don't know how familiar you are with Firestorm, but he merges with somebody else. So
Yes.
it's usually like the '80s stuff was Ronnie Raymond and Martin Stein would merge, and he would have Martin Stein in his head, but Robbie, not Robbie, what's his name? I just lost
Ronnie.
it. I just said it. And I just lost it. Ronnie, that's it. Ronnie would be the one like controlling it, and that would just be sort of a voice in his head. This one, it's kind of unclear how Jason gets the Firestorm power, and it manifests at a time when he's in danger. And instead of having like a set person that he has to merge with, this version of the character merges with whoever is there.
Okay.
So he's in like a shootout in the beginning, and he merges with one of the people that he's against. And so like Jason is controlling the Firestorm body, the character, the powers, but you get like sort of a split where like you see the action, but then you see this like internal conversation that Jason is having with whatever rando he's merged with to become Firestorm. And so I find this really effective
Hmm.
because the Stein stuff just gets a little old because he's always like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
Martin Stein,
Yeah.
blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
So sometimes this will just be a total rando, sometimes it'll be a villain, sometimes it'll be someone who actually like is helpful. But whatever it is, he's like getting a different you get sort of a different flavor of Firestorm depending on what's going on.
Mm.
And I've just never seen anything like that before, and I thought that it was really cool.
Yeah, it is weird because not only was it like important to those in its crossover stuff, but I just remember this series being talked a lot about at the time, both like
Yeah,
online and offline. Like Wizard magazine talked about it quite a bit. It just seemed to be like an important book at the time. So weird they never
yeah,
collected it, not at the time or anything. I mean,
yeah.
2004, the trade industry was there.
I know. And I I thought that I had read this character before, and I looked, and I had read the first volume of New 52 Firestorm,
Hmm.
and that is like, I think that's the one that's called Firestorm the Nuclear Men instead of
Yeah.
Nuclear Man, like singular.
Nuclear Man.
And yeah,
Hmm.
and so you have both Jason and Ronnie as different versions of Firestorm,
Mm.
and the New 52 volume just didn't do anything for me. It was just really sloppy and confusing.
Hey,
Um,
somebody just
but
talked
once
about the new 52 in general right there.
one one thing about this though, I feel like maybe if I have a better sense of how this version of Firestorm works, once I finish this run, I maybe will give the New 52 another shot
Mm.
because I really like the character and I really like this mode of making Firestorm happen. So I wish this was collected somewhere. It's not, but it is on the app,
Hmm.
the whole run. And it's maybe 30, 35 issues, something like that.
Okay.
So I'm digging it, and I'm gonna see it through.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah. As soon as you mentioned it, and I was looking at the covers, I got like hit with a whole wave of nostalgia at the time.
yeah.
So,
Hmm.
um, all right, I've finished volume 2 of Lucifer.
Oh,
Book 2 of Lucifer by Mike Carey. The original 75 issue run. So this is issues 14 through 28 plus Lucifer Nirvana.
okay.
Um,
Mm.
uh, he
Does he smell like Teen Spirit or
I don't know.
no?
I have never
Okay.
smelt Lucifer. I think it's very brimstony.
Okay.
So the universe he's made is like a big issue in this. He's got his own creation off in a completely new creation. This
Oh.
this tarot card set of monsters comes and kills him, and there's a big fight over that and bringing him back to life. There's other angels going
Hmm.
around,
Hmm.
and what his wings are a big issue. Death shows up. Death from the Sandman shows up in this. She it feels like she shows up in everything so much now. But it's always fun to see her. So yeah, this is very much still in like the Sandman vein of storytelling, but
Okay.
I don't know. It is and it isn't because Mike Carey isn't Neil Gaiman. And
Hmm.
Lucifer isn't Sandman, and but it's very fantastical at times. Like you just have, it's like the Fae are now his army and just living there on a
Hmm.
different world. So it's just kind of like urban fantasy, like demonology kind of stuff in a weird way.
Okay.
So he lives in a different world than like Sandman does thematically. But if you went
Okay.
from one to the other, I don't think it would be a huge. You wouldn't get any whiplash from it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Huh.
I got 3 more volumes to go.
All
Still
right.
liking it.
So you're having a good time. You're gonna see
Yeah,
it through.
I think the issues I just read of Hellblazer were started in '99. So I think I'm actually getting to a point where I'll be reading Hellblazer and Lucifer side by side, but maybe not. Maybe I'll finish
Oh.
Lucifer by then.
Okay.
Um,
All
so
right.
the art is also always very good. Some of the
Mhm.
some of the angels kind of remind me of the art from Fables. That's where I've been able to figure it out. There's art from Fables where they have goblins, and they're kind of short, and they're just big heads with giant mouths, and that's how some of the angels look.
Okay.
So,
All right. Interesting.
let's see. You haven't read.
I did read.
Oh,
I did read. I read a book. It's not a comic book, but I wanted to mention it just because it seems somewhat relevant, and that is Test of Courage by Justina Ireland. This is one of the first of the new Star Wars High Republic novels. I know you read. What's the one you read?
Light of the Jedi.
Light of the Jedi, and this was a thumbs down for you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is meant for a younger age group, so like I knew what I was getting at going in. It's a little like its focus is a little too wide, I think. Like it follows the Jedi Knight who's like a teenager who's just become a Jedi Knight, and there's like a shipwreck. And rather than just focusing on her, it's like you get backstories about every tiny little character who's in there.
Well,
So it just feels
that's what the other book was doing too. It's trying to like build this universe from scratch from like page 1.
yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, and so it in a lot of ways feels like kind of a chunky like TV pilot, which is too bad because I really like this author. Eric and I emailed Justina Ireland over for the All the Book Show episode 240. Let's chat with Justina Ireland at SoundCloud.com/all the books, and we were talking a little bit with her about the High Republic, and she was saying that this format is a little bit more like a TV writer's room. So I think we're kind of seeing that play out. So I was disappointed with this. I'm not ready to give up on the High Republic just yet. But if all of them are going to be so, I don't know, so heavy with the world building without much of a story and dull world building, it's going to be a hard ride. Are you going to read any more of these, do you think?
Yeah, I've got the young adult one by Claudia Gray on its way. I have
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm not reading any of the like junior books. So.
No, I probably won't again. I only read this because I like her. I like this author, and so I read it. My other complaint would be that it's supposed to be however long ago, and it feels like it could be set literally any time in the Star Wars
it's
universe.
supposed to be 200 years before Phantom Menace.
Yeah, and if you told me that this was set like after Force Awakens, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Like it just doesn't. The world is not different in any significant way, so I think that's kind of a mistake there. So, I was excited about it. I'm less excited about it now, but I'm going to at least try a few more and just see what I think.
I'm hoping Claudia Gray who has written good Star Wars books, can pick up the pace. I'm
I
not
have
surprised.
faith-
I
I
didn't
have
like
faith in
Charles
Claudia Gray.
Soule, so we'll see.
Oh yeah.
I started reading the Ninja Turtles series from, what is it? 2011 is when the series started back up again. The IDW series.
Like the IDW?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
So I read the first 4 issues, which I think if you get the trades, it makes up the Changes Constant trade. It makes up the first one. This collection I have, it's like the first 12 issues with some other stuff. So I was just reading it. I really liked it, this first 4 issues. So I'm definitely going to keep reading it. The hardcovers, they have so many of them, and my library has a bunch. So I'm in it. These 4 issues are a lot of fun. The art is I like the art. It's Kevin Eastman who's doing the art, I believe. And it's funny because like the characters are still, the turtles are still in their red. All of them are still wearing red, which is annoying.
Yeah, it is.
But
to bring it back to that.
So I'm like, which one is who's talking right now? But it's basically their origin. So the turtles and Splinter get hit with the mutagen, and then they meet a cat, and the cat gets hit with the mutagen, and then the cat's a villain. But they're setting up all this different stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, let's do this. I just like the turtles.
I read that first volume. I read Changes Constant, and I always had intended to read more.
Mm,
I didn't get too much beyond that. I think just because that I read everything that the library had at the time, and
mm,
I never really went back with it.
yeah.
But I mean, I like the original Turtle stuff,
Hmm.
you know, and this felt a little bit like a return to that form. I was mostly just fine with it,
Hmm.
but I definitely would read more. So let me know as you go on
Yeah,
if it's holding up.
it has that balance of being like cool while still being, goofy turtle stuff. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of hard because like if we like I remember the 80s cartoon being
Hmm.
cool, but when you watch it now you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is just straight up goofy comedy." And it's like
Yeah.
it's it was cool, but you watch it now and it's less cool. And so I think sometimes there's
Okay.
that hard balance of that new one, that new Nickelodeon. Well, it's not new anymore. That Nickelodeon series had that balance of like cool turtle stuff while also being kind of goofy,
Yeah.
like falling on a banana peel, but also they're Ninja Turtles. So
Yes.
yeah, this new
Yep.
series, it's just hitting all the right notes for me. Turtles, they're one of those things that I have to just admit, like I have just 100% complete nostalgia in. So like, it's
Yeah.
very unlikely that I'm not going to enjoy a Turtles thing.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I did you ever do anything with Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Did you watch the show or
Was
read
that
any
the
of the
one that
graphics
was
or anything like
after
that?
the Nickelodeon one?
Yeah, I think it's still Nickelodeon, but it's after the one that you're thinking of. Yeah.
Okay, then no, I haven't watched it.
Okay. That one is a lot more. I don't know. It's funny in a way that I don't feel like any other turtle show has been.
Mm.
It's also one that like can, like that's not one that I often watch with my son who just cameoed here, because it it's like sometimes in its attempts to be like goofy and absurd, it winds up in territory that's like genuinely creepy because it's just so like
Mm.
off kilter.
Sure.
And so it's definitely like we've been watching one before, you know, and before I really like kind of watched several episodes, and I'd be like, yeah, maybe this is not one
Hmm.
that we watch together. But um, I'm with you. You know, I don't think there's been an iteration of the Ninja Turtles that I've
Yeah.
hated. I even like that one where they were like sent into the future for a couple of seasons. You know,
Mm.
I've just sort of been on
Yeah,
board all
you're a
along
big
the way.
Venus de Milo fan.
You know what? You got me. That's one that I never could get into. Next
Yeah.
mutation, the live
Yeah.
action. I tried.
Hmm.
Boy, did I try,
Yeah.
but I just
I
that one doesn't do it for
I
me.
don't know if Eastman is doing all the art the whole time. I think he is the main artist, and I don't know if he sticks with it,
Hmm.
but the art is definitely playing. Like just seeing like the Ninja Turtles against this like human-sized cat with like an eye patch called Old Hob. I'm like, all right, you did it. I'm committed. So
I'm pretty sure you have. I think I read your copy of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books,
this the
like
black
big
and white
black and
one,
white.
yeah, big
Yes,
chunky,
I that's the
yeah.
one. That's the one. You lent it to
It's
me, and I
yeah. When
read
you
it
look at it, I
almost
guess
10 years ago.
yeah. It's so funny. Just like the original one. I mean, it's common knowledge now that it was just a parody of like Frank Miller and like Too Cool for
Yeah,
School comic book storytelling at the time.
yeah,
But yeah.
yep.
All right. I also finished the season 3 of Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I found out I can just go straight into season 4 because they don't cross over in season
Right.
4.
Yep.
That's Elseworlds,
You're
and they're
right.
not part of the Elseworlds, which
Yep.
seems weird, but also, hey, if I could
It's
just watch Legends straight through without having to worry.
yeah.
But then I'll be
Yep. No
so far
complaints.
ahead, I'll have to wait 2 seasons of
Yeah.
Arrow and Flash. But
Yeah.
anyways, man, considering how bad season 1 was, I am still shocked by how good Legends becomes.
Yeah.
By how like
Legends.
I was like legitimately laughing out loud and having like a great time this last episode of season 3, starring Bebo. And like
Yeah.
I was laughing. I had to take pictures and send it to a friend. And then like I showed Kendra it this morning. Just the Beebles wants a cuddle. It's just
Yeah.
killed me.
Yeah.
I guess just once.
I don't know that I've ever gone in and out of a show more than I have with Legends. You
Mm,
know, I'll go big chunks where I'm like, this is too stupid.
okay.
And then other times I'm like, yeah, this is the
Yeah,
one. This is
the
this
stupidest
is the show.
episode. The stupidest episode of season 3 was definitely the Elvis Presley haunted guitar episode. It was
Oh,
like a
yeah.
bad episode in general with like a weird concept I couldn't figure out. But like usually, like, the funnier this show goes, the better. That Hedgehog Day episode was great. Just, like, there is... Sometimes they do something, I'm like, oh, this should be cool. But, like, the more tongue-in-cheek they are, the better. It's just, like, a funny cast. So...
Yeah.
And then I know it's a dumb line. People online were complaining about the line. But when Gorilla Grodd told a young Barack Obama in the 70s, time to make America Grodd again... I laughed. I couldn't help. It was just time to make America Grodd again. Ugh.
That's pretty funny.
I have to give it up to CW. He doesn't always look completely fantastic, but the fact that there's a live action Grodd in this series, in this universe, it makes me happy. So
yeah, they do a nice job with it.
Yeah, Legends Season 3 had a good time.
Nice.
So.
I'm really liking Batwoman, which the whole slate of CW shows was basically renewed, including Batwoman, which has hardly even started, and some of the ones that haven't even started their seasons. Legends, for example, was renewed for season 7.
Yeah, it's the pandemic. CW just have to be like, all right, just renew everything. Just renew everything. Yeah. We can't. Yeah. But you know what? It benefits something like Legends, and which I think you're right. Season 6 hasn't aired yet. So getting that extra boost is pretty cool. And surprising.
It also helps them prepare for. Yeah, it is, and it gives them a chance to commit to a 2-season story, or just know that whatever they're doing is not going to be the last.
So
but
I guess I have to wait until. So I guess Batwoman for me starts when I finish season 7 of Arrow. Like she first appears in Elseworlds.
Yeah,
and then her series starts after that.
It's so separate. Yeah. It just hardly matters.
Okay.
I think as soon as you see her in Elseworlds, you could start Batwoman and be just fine.
Well,
but
finishing Legends season 3, I think I'm gonna go because then next was another mid-season series, so that would be Black Lightning. So I'm gonna start Black Lightning.
Oh yeah.
I think that's 13 issues.
That's
13 episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go into Black Lightning next to take over the Legends time slot right now for me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Are we talking WandaVision? Because you can't talk WandaVision without spoiling WandaVision.
Yeah. I mean, we probably should. We probably just should steer clear of it.
Okay. Well, WandaVision was good and had a very twisty twist that sent me through a bunch of different emotions. But at the same time, I can't deny how shocking it was.
Yes.
Like jaw, my jaw. I did it like a double take. Jaw kind of dropped. I think Kendra audibly gasped out loud. It was.
Oh, my wife and I. Yes. I mean, we both really. I mean, she basically screamed, and I was just like, it was.
I can't. I mean, it felt like Game of Thrones level shocking for me. I can't remember a show prior to since Game of Thrones that had me go like, oh my gosh, but
I could, in my life, I could think of a specific scene from Battlestar Galactica. I could think of a specific scene from Lost. And, other than that, it's now WandaVision is in that short list of things that really, really floored me.
It was shocking. People were saying, it's going to be like a Luke Skywalker-sized cameo. No. If you didn't know who was under that hood during that 5-minute action scene, I'm very shocked. But, what they did with one, it's not just it was just, whoa. So,
it really was.
If you're on Twitter if you're on Twitter after 4 a.m., when WandaVision drops, it's going to be spoiled for you. So I'm sure you've already seen it, whether you meant to or not. But anyway, we won't.
I know. Well, that's the thing. My wife keeps saying it would be the show would be more fun to be able to binge several episodes. So she was like, well, why don't we just stock a couple up? And I was like, no. Every moment that I'm alive, that it's not spoiled for me is a miracle. Yeah. So we gotta get.
I get that whole binging thing, but I also think it would be less exciting if it was binging.
True.
I mean, if we were just binging and then you just get the whole fact that and then you wouldn't just be avoiding an episode 4 spoiler, an episode 5 spoiler. You'd have to avoid spoilers the whole season until you binged it. This is fine for me if this is how Disney Plus is doing.
No, I agree. I'm happy with the two.
So episode it was also intense. this episode beyond just
It
like the
was.
shocking thing.
It
There
was.
some
Yeah,
some cool moments.
I definitely agree.
So
Yes.
nice to hear
Yep.
that she hasn't completely lost her Sokovian
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We got it back a little
Yeah.
bit, didn't we?
There was a shot in there that people were comparing to Vision with Marriage Story. Adam Driver doing the
That's
every day I wake up and I'm still the Vision. So yeah, I would tell Kendra, I was like, listen, I want to tell you those kids are going to be okay, but I can't promise you anything.
Yeah. Best to be prepared.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for a little quarter bin action?
Yeah.
Star Trek Gold Key Comics number 28 from 1978. 25 cents is the cover price, so it's quarter bin all around.
Yeah.
Also, the barcode in the corner here says 90210 501. So
well then,
there are no coincidences.
Yeah.
This is all I'm going to say. So this is Star Trek comics have gone through a couple of different iterations. The Gold Key stuff here, when it's actual illustrations, is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
There was a series called New Visions, and even some of the later Gold Key stuff just took stills from the show and put like thought bubbles around them and used the images from the show to make new stories. I hate those. And I actually thought that's what this was, but when I opened it up, it's illustrated, which is nice.
Right.
I will say they only have one pencil.
Is a Disney Adventure style of comic books where
Yeah.
they take the stills of the
Yeah.
movies and just put
I can't give it a pass for some of its coloring choices. It apparently only has one color that it's going to use for people's faces. So whether you're Kirk, Uhura, or Sulu, you all look the same. So I think that's kind of lame. But in the story, the Enterprise finds
You called
this
it
barren
the
planet,
Enterprise. Ha ha.
I know.
Hey, that's not a bad McDonald's.
So Kirk is
tie-in.
like, that's pretty good. Yeah,
I would like the Enterprise, supersize my Sorry.
Yeah. Would you like that Scotty sized?
Yeah, Scotty size. Yeah, beam me up.
Yeah, you want Scotty movie size or Scotty? Anyway, so Kirk and Spock beam down to the planet,
that was unkind to Scotty.
Was it? No, he'd like it. I think he'd think it was funny.
Right.
They take some security down to this planet, and they're checking it out. When they beam down, they find a shuttle that looks exactly like theirs, and they're like, well, that's weird. So they send the security crew to go after it, leaving Spock, Kirk, and Lieutenant Calder in the shuttle. And when the security team gets there, they're like, yeah, it's exactly like our shuttle. We don't know what's going on. Suddenly, this volcano goes off, and everything's covered in lava. So they're trapped in their shuttle with lava on the outside, and their heat sensors are going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They're finally pushed free, and in the alternate shuttle, suddenly there's like doppelgangers of the security crew that were there, and they kind of take over. And so the shuttle and everything like disappears when Kirk and Spock come for it, and Spock goes back into their original shuttlecraft to try to figure out, the sensors and things. Kirk and Calder go out, and when they're out there, they see like the molecules around them start reforming, very Firestar-esque, and Firestorm, and the shuttle's disappearing, and all this crazy stuff is happening. Then they're like, Spock, come out here with us. Come on, Spock. And he's like, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem good.
Uh-huh.
So just then, Scotty and McCoy beam down, and Kirk and Calder are definitely acting weird, and Scotty's kind of with it, and he's like, no, we're going to put your phaser on them, and Dr. McCoy's like, I can't shoot Captain Kirk, Spock gets him in the shuttlecraft, and they start to figure out what's going on a little bit here. And the landscape all is transforming around them. Original Kirk and Calder are able to escape. They get back in the shuttlecraft. Uhura beams down this like robot scanner thing that goes into this volcano. And we realize that it's not a volcano. It's a big like parasitic creature that is like luring people and machinery like into it so that it can feed off of it. So up in the Enterprise, Sulu and Uhura are about the only ones left as senior staff, and they shoot down this beam that disrupts the hold long enough for the shuttlecraft to get away. Mm-hmm. And Kirk and crew are like, well, that place is horrible and scary, but it's a living creature, so we can't kill it. So hopefully no one else will be ensnared by it. Bye! And they drive away.
The end.
The end. What do you think about that?
So all that was accomplished was that they escaped.
Yeah.
Okay. Fun.
Yeah. They escaped.
Is it exciting? Like you were talking about the art. Like, is the art exciting?
It's pretty good. It's colorful.
It sounds like, the cover's exciting.
It's 70s. Yeah, it has great cover art. There's no question about that. It's not as dynamic as the cover, but no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good inside.
Okay.
So yeah, I haven't read a lot of Star Trek comics from that era, so it was kind of fun to revisit it. Yep.
How long did I guess I can just click on this. How long did start 61 issues, it looks like?
This is right in the middle. This is issue 28.
Yeah, so Gold Key, it looks like they had it for 61.
And then I don't know if Marvel or DC got it first, but Marvel and DC kind of volleyed it back and forth for a while, and now, as with all things, IDW is the one who publishes all Star Trek.
Is it IDW? Okay. Yeah. IDW feels like it's becoming the new Dark Horse.
It is. It's kind of the storehouse for like everything that's not a Marvel or DC property.
I don't know what's happening with Dark Horse these days. We talked about that before.
I kind of thought Dark Horse was gone, but it's still doing stuff.
Oh yeah, it's still there, but they're just losing their
religion,
losing so many of their properties. It feels like.
Oh.
Like they got Black Hammer, but I don't know. So
yeah,
the Avatar movie.
Okay.
They do the Avatar movie.
Oh, jeez. Okay, great.
Pathfinder. So, yeah. Oof. Stranger Things. I think they got Stranger Things, but how many people are reading the Stranger Things comics?
Not me.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Just makes me sad. Dark Horse was cool.
I understand.
Anyway, I don't know how we got into being sad about Dark Horse comics.
I don't know, but it was a ride that I was all too glad to take with you. Yeah. So here we are.
All right.
Yep. All right. Eric, did you know that outside of the Radio Meanwhile Network, I'm the host of House Things, the official podcast and radio show of the David A. Howe Public Library? You did?
Yes.
I've got a really cool interview with Steve Barnes, sci-fi legend Steve Barnes. We talk about how he stalked Larry Niven to get his foot in the door, found out where he went and hung out there, and eventually got the chance to rewrite a short story that Larry Niven wasn't happy with, and that's how he became a co-writer with Larry Niven for a long time, and then went on to do his own thing. So it was a really interesting conversation. So you can find that at soundcloud.com/allthebooks. And while you're there, you can listen to 275 numbered episodes that Eric and I did of the All the Book Show prior to that. So go tune in.
Yeah. And
what about you, buddy? Oh, right. 902, and here we go for the Radio Meanwhile Network. Yeah. And this is we're leading up to Valentine's Day, so we're doing a special Valentine's Day themed episode where we're watching the ABC Family rom-com I Want to Marry Ryan Banks. It has 3 90210 alums in it, so good times. Jason Priestley, Bradley Cooper, fun, and Emma Caulfield Ford from WandaVision. So there you go, comic book tie-in.
Emma Caulfield Ford
she's Dottie Jones.
Oh,
she was probably
yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yep, that's her.
All right. Some corrections. One, Dark Horse also has a Critical Role. So that's probably doing them pretty good.
That's big. That's numbers.
I forgot to mention the artist from Black Hammer was in that Lucifer comic I read, and it was just like I was looking at him like this is the Black Hammer guy instantly. His art style has not changed in 20 years.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that's cool.
So, yeah. How come you're not doing an episode on Emily Valentine? Just a whole spotlight on Emily Valentine.
Oh, we should have done an Emily Valentine spotlight. You're right.
It's not too late. Yeah, besides Comic Book Coffee Break, I do 90s Music's Got Me Like. Tomorrow, as we're recording this, the next episode will be The Old Apartment by Bare Naked Ladies, and then Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
This is where we used to live.
By The Offspring. And I also do previously on X-Men, and our next episode for that will be covering the New Mutants movie.
New Mutants.
The movie.
Yeah.
It should say that. You should just say New Mutants, the movie.
The movie. Yeah.
So people are like, oh, wow. They finally made a movie. All right.
Here it is. We did it.
We just did a Sentinel spotlight. So.
Yeah.
Learned a lot about Sentinels there.
Sure did.
All right.
I know.
What are you reading this week, Nick?
Well, I had intended to read more Aquaman and Flash. I didn't get to it. I'm about halfway through Justice League Aquaman
Okay,
Drowned
so you'll be
Earth.
talking
It's
that.
right where I am in it's right where I am in Aquaman. It's way ahead of where I am in Justice
Yeah,
League, but I hate Rebirth Justice League and I just don't care.
yeah.
So here we
All
go. I'm
right.
going for it. So I'm going to read that. I'm going to read more Firestorm. Sorry,
Mhm.
read more Firestorm, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do Marvel wise. I guess we'll find out together.
I feel kind of boring because all I've been doing is talking Hellblazer, Lucifer, Mutant X, and Batman, and that's probably going to stay the
Yeah.
same for this week. But also a little bit more Ninja Turtles. I will be reading more of that Detective Comics series. There are 2 volumes after Tinian leaves, and I
Okay.
have them, and then I also got the copy of the Batman book he took over. So
Oh, okay.
uh, I'll
Wow.
have more Batman to read.
Okay. All right.
And then Detective Comics, when Batman gets taken over by Tinian, Detective Comics, I think gets taken over. Who's the one that?
I think it's isn't it James Robinson? Doesn't
No,
James Robinson take
Tomasi.
it over
I
then?
think it's Tomasi.
Oh. Oh,
And
okay. I like
I
him.
think they bring in the Arkham Knight character, but I don't know how they'll do it since it's a completely different
Oh,
character in the game. So
weird.
yeah, so I've got more Batman
Okay.
ahead of me. I don't know if there'll be
All right.
any surprises. I guess we'll see.
I guess we
All
will.
right, that's it.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Say goodbye. Say good
So
night,
long.
Nick.
Good night, Donna.
What?